Hello everyone, this is Ebony's World, and I just wanted to come to you today to talk to you about this beautiful young lady. Her name is Breasia Terrell, and she will forever be 10. And I will remember the day that she went missing because it's on my child's birthday. So July 9th. Miss Breasia, a 10-year-old, was last heard from her mother by giving her a good night text message saying, "I love you, good night." And I want to jump right in and talk about what happened here. But I want you to look at this beautiful face and this smile. I couldn't imagine how a parent feels to lose a child whose smile and eyes light up the room. So I want to go ahead and talk about Breasia Terrell, who is forever 10. She's 1 year older than my youngest. And she reminds me so much of my child. So let's talk about Miss Breasia and what happened here. Breasia came from a mother named Aisha, who was in a brief relationship with a male named Henry. Aisha had a short relationship with Henry. They say it's very brief, so it sounds like basically she barely had a relationship with this man, since it was very brief is all I keep hearing about. So Aisha got pregnant by this male, Henry, who was not in the life of her child that she had with him. He was basically a deadbeat father, missing in action, MIA, nowhere to be seen and found. When all of a sudden he pops up and wants to be a father. Years later he pops up and wants to be a father. He asked to have his son spend the night with him, and Breasia wanted to spend the night with her brother. So she wanted to be with her brother. And Aisha decided to let that happen. And I don't fault her mother, because she probably, she probably thought that, he was a trusted parent and that he would do right by her kids. Especially because she has one son with him. So she probably thought he was a trusted parent. So I don't fault her for this. But Breasia wanted to be with her brother. And so she went to spend the night at her half-brother's father's home, Henry. And basically they went, instead of his home, they went to spend the night at his girlfriend's home. And the girlfriend, what the accounts from the girlfriend is that basically when the kids came to spend the night at her house, Henry was in and out their door all types of times of the morning. And that she noticed that around about 3 o'clock in the morning, him and Breasia wasn't in the house. And when she looked out the window, Breasia was outside standing next to a car. Now I don't know why she did not go and check on that baby outside to see if that baby was okay with being outside. Because at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure Breasia was probably asleep and probably was woken up and told to go outside. And as another adult, let me tell you something, all adults are responsible for every child that's in the house. So the girlfriend should have went and she should have questioned a little bit more about why Breasia was outside. She should have went outside to that baby and asked her, did she want to be out there? If she said no, she should have had her to come back in, instead of letting that man have her outside for whatever reason. He's not her father. Your son is in the house, but she's outside. That doesn't make sense. But the girl on the girlfriend account, him and Breasia was outside all types of the morning, and he left his phone. Henry left his phone in the home, so the girlfriend couldn't get in contact with him until about 7 o'clock in the morning, where he finally walks his behind back in the house and then retrieves his phone and then says Breasia is missing. From the mother, Aisha's account, the last time she spoke to Breasia was July 9th, that night where she said, good night, I love you. I love you, good night. But it wasn't from Breasia's phone. It was from Henry's phone, is what the report said. So this man possibly was the one that sent the message to Aisha saying good night, pretending that he's Breasia. But being a girlfriend, I would have absolutely told. I would have found that very suspicious. I would have absolutely told. Also, come to find out, he was a registered sex offender, which makes sense why the kids were at the girlfriend house, because with him being a registered sex offender at his home, there's no kids allowed at that address. So it made perfect sense why he made sure the kids was at the girlfriend's home. Now, I don't know if the girlfriend knew that he was a registered sex offender, but if she did, she needs to be held accountable for what happened and for these kids being endangered. Because let's be honest, sex offenders don't just like little girls. They like little boys too. So his son would have been in just as much danger. Now, did the mother know that he was a registered sex offender? Don't know. But we got to be more careful, especially in the black community. Ladies, you got to be more careful, because when these men are missing, and they do go missing a lot out of the kids' lives, data says so. When they all of a sudden want to pop back up, you need to be pulling records on these guys. It's at the point where we have to pull records. Listen, not just for us, because these men are often, us women in the black community, at very high and quick rates because they're degenerate. So we gotta make sure we pulling records on a regular basis when it comes to the dating pool. But now we need to also be pulling records when it comes to our kids, because if the father's been missing for a while, we need to know what his activity been. Some way, somehow. Make sure, the least, make sure he doesn't have a record. That's the least we can do. And stop letting your kids spend the night at anybody and everybody's houses. I've heard of family members having things happen to them by spending the night at people's houses or going with other grown men at the hands of family members. It's not safe these days. But let's get back to the girlfriend. I don't know if she knew he was a sex offender, but I applaud the girlfriend. She did go ahead and spill the beans, and she told on him. She told he wasn't in the house. He's been gone all through the morning, and he left his cell phone here where I couldn't get in contact with him. And then he came back at 7 a.m. in the morning to retrieve his phone, and then says that Breasia is missing. So the girlfriend spilled the beans and told on him. I applaud her for that. But now it's 3 years later, and they're finally having him to stand trial. They're finally having that monster to stand trial for what he did. And I do applaud that police department, because, you know, usually the police don't move as swift when it comes to black kids, but they move swift. And when I say move swift, I mean like that same day. That same day that when as soon as he reported that that child was missing, that same day they reported that they was making that man do all kind of swabs, mouth swabs, genital swabs, fingernail swabs. They were busting down doors to the homes, even to his mother home. Like, they wasn't playing. And as they should, because he ain't have no business being with no kids in the first place, because he's a registered as a O. He has no business being with kids. So they did exactly what they were supposed to do swiftly, which it was check everybody that he know and himself, his whole body. I hate what he did to her, and it's opened my eyes to really be more cautious of where I let my kids go and who I let them go with. And I just want to say, rest in peace, baby girl. You're forever young. You're forever 10. And it's 3 years later, and now this monster is finally standing trial for what he did to you. And I hope they give him what they're supposed to give him, which is really kicked off this earth. I believe in the death penalty. He should be kicked off this earth. But something tells me they're going to let him actually live, because they really believe that monsters like that should live. They believe they need time to think about what they did. I think they may even use that because he has a son, and that he should still be alive for his offspring. But I think his son should really disown him. I know I would. I know I would. You murdered my sister. I would disown you. I don't know you. So, justice for Breasia. Forever young, forever 10. Take a look at this baby again, and let's keep up with her and her story. Forever young, baby girl. We'll all miss you.